By 2050, there will be more plastic than fish in the world's oceans. This is according to a report produced by the Ellen MacArthur Foundation, published by the World Economic Forum this week. Well, the study says that the worldwide use of plastic has increased 20-fold in the last 50 years. It's expected to double again in the next 20 years. The new report also says that most plastic packaging is used just once and then discarded. What we're talking about here is that a whopping 32% of all plastic packaging escapes collection systems and goes right into the ecosystems, and a lot of which gets into the oceans. We're also talking about the fact that 8 million tons of plastic is estimated to end up in the ocean each year, but at the rate of which we're using products and inventing new products and using plastic bags, 2050, by mid-century, they're saying that we will have more plastic in the ocean than fish. This is obviously terrible news, worse than we ever thought it was. We already knew that a lot of animals are washing up and with plastic inside them. We can see on our shorelines the amount of plastic that's being left over. But to think that the amount of fish will be outweighed by plastic by 2050, that's a new revelation from this study and quite disturbing.
Yeah, I mean, it speaks a lot about overfishing, in addition to the amount of plastic pollution that's hitting the oceans. It's kind of a quiet but well-known story about the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, which is a huge amount of garbage that is just kind of collecting in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, which is pretty much being sent there by currents. And it more or less, although it's not like a consistently thick, stream of garbage that you could see from a distance, it is a concentration of a lot of particular plastic as well as larger pieces of plastic. It ranges in size anywhere from the size of Texas to twice the size of the United States, all depending on how the currents are moving. So this is something that, it's like a quiet devastation that has been persisting for years.
And it's something that actually hasn't had that much coverage, this Great Pacific Garbage Patch. And to think that there's this area that literally, because of the way the currents move, has trapped this sheer amount of rubbish, amount of plastic, it's really quite disgraceful. Diana Cohen, who is the CEO of the Plastic Pollution Coalition, she spoke out about the results from the new study. Here's one quote from her. She said, "One of the biggest problems to focus on is on single-use and disposable plastic." She said it impacts the entire ecosystem in the ocean. If you come from a country that gets its primary livelihood or protein source from the ocean, then the fish you may count on to eat is ingesting plastic, getting entangled in it, and dying from having stomachs full of it. Obviously, this speaks to where we will go. We know the world's population is increasing, and by 2050, it's supposed to increase by another third. If we're outweighing the number of fish we have to eat, obviously that has detrimental effects. Diane Cohen, she also went on to say that she's calling on governments to really take steps now before it's too late to do something about this. There is technology out there that's being developed, but there are also organizations fighting for continued use of plastics. One example that I wanted to bring to light is in Los Angeles, there was supposed to be a ban on plastic bags being used in stores by grocers. It was supposed to be implemented July 1st last year. In fact, over 800,000 people signed a petition to hold off on this ban at least until the end of next year. You might wonder why so many people signed such a petition. Well, the American Progressive Bag Alliance was one of the organizations behind this. And one of the main reasons they attributed to was because it would kill 2,000 manufacturing jobs. So there are organizations out there trying to stop it. It will be voted on again at the end of the year. I will say that it was also because of where they thought the money was going, to the wrong places. But the Economic World Forum is set to look at the advancements in things like robotics, biotechnology. It's coming up in Switzerland when we still have something like this. It's an old school problem. It's very low tech and it's still not being solved. Definitely there's technology being developed, but we're certainly not there yet.
Yeah, and it's interesting because there's always going to be that debate about commerce versus ecology and the cost of a healthy environment. But with 2/3 of the Earth being ocean and the vast enormity of life on Earth being marine life, The devastating impacts that an unbalanced ocean system can have on life on dry land is going to be impossible to measure and potentially catastrophic.
Well, we have a problem, obviously, with overfishing. We have a problem with not reusing our plastics, and in general, using things like plastic bags, which to me personally seems so unnecessary when we have other things that we can use in their place. Also, oil as well being a major contributing factor. But at the end of the day, we as individuals do have the power to do something about it. Certainly in our own lives, we can take measures to cut down on our use and our disposing of plastics, and certainly technology companies should be encouraged to do more to try to do something about what's already in the ocean.